Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins, and today I'm talking to author J.R. Reid. J.R. is the author of An Asperger's Guide to Dating Neurotypicals. This book is for anyone on the autism spectrum who is in a relationship or marriage with a neurotypical person or who wishes to be. It's also for the NT in a relationship with an Aspie. Hello, J.R. Welcome, and thank you for coming on Book Talk Radio Club.
Oh, Claire, thank you so much for having me. This is a blast.
It's my pleasure. Okay, straight into it. Most people have heard of autism and Asperger's, but what is a neurotypical?
Well, the person who is autistic has a neurologically atypical brain. So anybody who is not autistic has a neurologically typical brain, thus the term neurotypical. So basically anybody who is non-autistic is a neurotypical.
Right, I see. So why do Aspies need a guide to dating neurotypicals?
Well, our brains work very differently, and I asked somebody who's an electrician because basically our brains are electrical centers, and I asked somebody who was an electrician to define the difference, and they said it was kind of like strings of Christmas lights, in that some strings of Christmas lights, when one bulb burns out, the whole string burns out.
Right.
Some, when one bulb burns out, every other light stays on except for that one.
Interesting.
But when you change the bulb, they both work just fine, and they both do the same job to light up the Christmas lights. They just do it in two different ways.
That's a very good way of putting it. Very good way. So tell me, neurodivergence and neurodiversity are two of the new terms being used in the autism field. What are they? What is neurodivergence and neurodiversity?
Well, it's basically the same thing that I said. It's the diversity of the human brain. Now, neurodiversity could mean anything from somebody who's got CTE, which we see here in American football a lot, not the football that I grew up playing, which is we call soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, I still call football. And you could have Parkinson's, you could have anything else. It's just neurodiversity is having a brain that is different than the normal. Neurodivergence speaks more to autism specifically.
Right. And you say a mix of those with autism and those without make a great team. Why is that?
Well, first, two reasons. One, we, and I say we because I am high-functioning autistic.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to be very logical thinkers. So when we get a partner, somebody who is one of those eyes, pie in the sky, big dreams and everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're going to, help them kill those dreams, but we're going to look at things logically and help them prepare.
Yes. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, which it's really strange, we tend to be very logical thinkers, but we also tend to be very out-of-the-box thinkers.
Yes.
So when it comes to a work environment, when you're sitting in a meeting trying to plan a project, when you've got somebody who's an out-of-the-box thinker and can come up with other ideas, that can really help.
Yeah.
Because I remember sitting in meetings and somebody would bring up an idea, and the first thing that my brain starts doing is running scenarios at 1,000 miles an hour, and looking at what will work and what won't work and what I think is going to work best. Yeah. And a lot of times those are out of the box things.
Yes, yeah. But there's also the thing where it can be difficult because the person who's very logical, because I'm speaking from experience here, the partner finds it very, very hard to do with straight, stone cold logic. I mean, I myself, I never even thought of this, having Asperger's or anything, because I've never had any tests or anything. But I know I'm very, very logical and I'm straight down. But then I also manage to think outside the box, and it drives my husband mad sometimes because he's saying, you see everything just black and white. There's no either side for you. But as it happens, I don't. I see things in black and white. Then I think, well, it could be done this way, it could be done that way, and it can be difficult as well. Not just making a great team. It can be difficult.
No, it can be very difficult. And here's a good example. For a long time, I was told by somebody that I was not living up to my potential.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that what they meant was that they were trying to encourage me. But my autistic, logical brain thinks if I'm living up to my potential, I'm succeeding.
Yes.
If I'm not living up to my potential, I'm not succeeding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So tell me, isn't Asperger's Guide to Dating Neurotypicals for straight couples or for all types of relationships?
It's for all types of relationships because really the principles I talk about are communication, respect, understanding, honesty, and those are all principles that don't care about gender, don't know about gender.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't matter what way you go, as it were, you can still be an Aspie.
Right, and to be honest, I'm going to adopt the book to other types of social situations as well. I mean, work relationships, friendships, things like that, because the principles are really all the same.
Yes. Yeah. You're proud to be an Aspie. You refer to it as your superpower. Why do you see it as a superpower?
Well, I see it as a superpower because, again, I can see things logically, I can see things outside the box, and so many people that are on the autism spectrum and have Asperger's or high functioning autistics are ashamed of it. And I celebrate it. You know what? I'm different. So what? It's who I am.
It's who you are, absolutely. Absolutely. But I like the way you call it your superpower. I must remember that one.
Oh, thank you very much.
You have an
Oh,
autism. Sorry, go on, carry on.
I said, and part of the reason I came up with the superpower idea was I saw somebody had drawn a Superman logo, but as you're probably aware, I don't know if it's in the UK, but in the United States, the autism logo is a bunch of colored puzzle pieces,
All right.
and they had made the Superman logo out of a bunch of different colored puzzle pieces.
Love it.
Oh,
That's great. So you have an autism service dog, a black Labrador called Ty. How does Ty support you? I mean, what kind of training does an autism service dog go through? I mean, when I think of a service dog, I just automatically think of a dog leading the blind. How does an autism service dog work?
well, it's funny. I found out a few things from talking to the trainer when I got him in things that he can be across the room from me and he can hear my blood pressure go up and my heartbeat go up. He can sense when I'm starting to really stress and kind of go into a meltdown mode or start to really freak out, and he can be there to comfort me. If we're out shopping and we're in line and people are starting to crowd me, he will stand a couple of feet behind me
Right.
in order just to give me some space.
Yeah.
And if we go to some outing that there's just all kinds of sensory overload and he can tell that I'm just not handling it well, he is trained to actually pull me away from the situation. And the reason I have a black lab, a big dog, is because I'm a full-grown male adult and a smaller dog would not be able to pull me out of that situation.
I can't really imagine something like a Dachshund being able to do that. No, I can see what you're saying.
No, not me.
So tell me, what is the autism spectrum?
Well, the people that are so low functioning that the only thing I can compare them to would be close to Down syndrome.
Right.
And then there are people like me that are very high functioning, that can carry on conversations when we have to. We have, some social quirks and some other quirks, but there's such a broad grouping of us, and so that's why they call it a spectrum.
Right.
Is because they can then place you, kind of where you are on the spectrum.
Right. I see. Oh, that's really interesting. I'm going to have to look at this, definitely. Tell me, how old were you when you were diagnosed with Asperger's?
46, and I'm now 52.
Right.
I went through a lot of my life being called a lot of weird things and just thinking I was weird and not knowing why.
Tell me about it.
and getting that diagnosis was really, really good.
It must have been extremely difficult growing up feeling different from the other kids of your age. I mean, I know that I always felt like an outsider, at times confused and angry, and others actually more than not, more than happy, even relieved to be in my own company. Still am.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I wanted to play with other kids and do the kickball or do the softball or stuff at recess, and I did sometimes, but I also knew that I was going to get teased and laughed at.
Mm.
And, it's funny, I went to public school through fourth grade and then Christian school from fifth grade through graduation of high school.
Mm.
And I don't remember a single instance of being bullied or mocked or anything
Right.
from public school, but I got tons of memories from Christian school. I mean, I had teachers that would call me stupid, weird, lazy.
That's so awful.
Kids were a little more colorful.
You say in your bio, and I quote, "My car seat was a laundry basket in the back of a VW Bug. That explains the rest of my life." Can you explain that to me, please?
Yeah, I blogged years ago before I was diagnosed with Asperger's, and I could never figure out why I was the way I was. And I grew up in an era before car seats, and my mom had a VW Bug, and she strapped in a laundry basket into the back seat of the VW Bug, and that's where she put me. And so I just joked that, I must have been jostled around enough that somehow screwed up my brain, and that just affected the rest of my life. Well, now I know differently.
Sure.
But I like it so much, and it was so funny that I just keep it.
It's really good. I mean, can you imagine nowadays if someone was stopped with a kid in a laundry basket?
Oh my Lord! Yeah, well, trust me, you would be seeing them on CNN from over here.
So tell me, excuse me, is this the first in a series about Asperger's dating, or will you be writing about Asperger's from a different angle?
I'm going to be writing about it from different angles.
Right.
I'm going to be writing about Asperger's and relationships in the workplace, Asperger's and family relationships, Asperger's and other social relationships.
Mm.
So I basically want to write, and as you notice, this book is only 56 pages.
Right.
And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a clinician, I'm not a therapist, I'm somebody on the spectrum who is speaking from, real life perspective.
Absolutely.
So I don't need 4 pages to make an analogy when one paragraph will do just fine.
Yeah.
So I want to make these books simple, easy to read.
Yeah.
People can get in, get out, but I want to write a small series of books about all different parts of life for somebody that's high functioning on the spectrum.
I think that's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So tell me, where can Book Talk Radio Club's listeners purchase an Asperger's Guide to Dating Neurotypicals?
Well, let's see. It's on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It's on my website, reed author.com, and it's the same price as Amazon, but you'll get an autographed copy.
Right.
And I am working right now with a reader on Audible, so it should be on Audible in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, that's fantastic, because personally I love listening to audiobooks.
Yes, and by the way, with you being in the UK, when it's on Amazon UK, Amazon Europe, as well as Amazon in the US.
Fantastic. All right, thank you, JR. That was really interesting. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club again. I'd love to chat with you and hear some more, obviously. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thank you, JR.
Thank you.
Bye now.